Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Hiking Adventures with Trevor. Today we're going to look at some of the things or some of the mistakes I made when I first started hiking. So today's little video we're going to discuss 7 main mistakes that beginner hikers actually often do, and actually to their detriment. So anyway, let's get started. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to look at 7 really common mistakes beginner hikers do. And so we're going to go through these mistakes. I've made all of these mistakes over the years, so I know that the results of these mistakes and why you shouldn't make those mistakes. I made them, you don't have to. Okay. Mistake number 1, wearing the wrong footwear. We've all done that. We've gone on a little hike and we've walked in our, sand shoes, or, we've just our casual sort of walking shoes that we go to the shop in. We put them on and we've gone for a walk. Or even worse still, we've got our thongs on and we decided we're going to go for a walk. One of the biggest mistakes that beginner hikers do is they wear sneakers or casual shoes. Proper hiking shoes or boots give you grip, support on uneven surfaces. Hiking shoes or trail runners are designed for the trail. So your average day-to-day, hiking or walking sneaker that you go to the shop in or may go to the gym in, they are not designed for uneven, rough trail surfaces. So it's really important to get yourself some purpose-built hiking or trail running shoes. As I said, most of those shoes have very grippy soles. The ones I use a brand called Ultra. All of them have really good Vibram soles that are really grippy, and they have good support, and they're made from tough material. So if I'm dragging my ankle across beside a rock, it's going to protect me as I walk. So it's really, really important to get those good shoes. Mistake number 2, not bringing enough water. I can't count the amount of times I've seen people, they're about to start like a 6 or 8K walk, and they might have not even any water with them, or if they do have water, they have one little 600 ml bottle or something like that. It's so important to take enough water. A good golden rule, I suppose, is bring a litre water for every hour of walk. That's a good sort of generalized, you probably could bring more, but I wouldn't bring any less than that. So if the sign at the start of the hiking trail says it's a 3 kilometre round trip, well, take 3 litres of water. It's really good if you do that. If you become dehydrated along the trail, and one, it can be very dangerous, especially if you're a senior hiker, but it also weakens you. So if you're walking up the side of a mountain and you're dehydrated, you're going to have a headache, you're going to be really weak in the legs, and worst case scenario, it's going to affect your vision. All these things are really not good to do. So make sure you carry lots of water with you. If I go for even a little small walk, I always take a minimum of 2 litres of water. If the walk's going to be really long, I'll take 3 litres, and often will take my water filtration system to top up my water along the way if there's water sources along my hike. Anyway, that's mistake number 2. Mistake number 3, wearing the wrong clothes. And once again, I see so many people out on the trail just wearing the totally inappropriate clothes. Cotton clothing is a big no-no when you're hiking. Cotton clothing, what happens when you start sweating, the cotton clothing stays all sweaty and wet, and it becomes very, very uncomfortable. If you're going to take up hiking, buy yourself some proper hiking gear. I like this shirt. This shirt's a brand called Arc'teryx. It's actually designed for hiking. It's a synthetic material, but it breathes really well. And when I do sweat, which we all do when we hike, especially if you're hiking up hills, this this shirt breathes, so it cools me down when I'm sweating. So buy yourself some appropriate clothing. Don't wear don't wear jeans on a hike. If you get them wet, even if you don't get them wet, you start sweating. They become really uncomfortable to walk in. Merino wool or specific synthetic material for hiking clothes, that's what you should be looking for when you're out there. And you don't have to spend a fortune. Like this shirt's Arc'teryx. They're not the cheapest. They're very good, but they're not the cheapest. But there's plenty of brands. Columbia, that's a brand that comes to mind. MacPack, they're all reasonably priced. There's another brand called Cool, I think it's KH or KUHL. Their clothing is good quality but inexpensive. So get yourself the appropriate clothing before you go out. Now, mistake number 4, not checking the weather. It might look sunny and blue sky outside your house before you go on the hike. Then you drive an hour down the road, start hiking, get halfway up on that mountain and a massive thunderstorm starts. Always check the weather forecast for the area you're actually hiking in, not the area where you live, because it could be totally different. Weather can change quickly in the outdoors. I've been on hikes where it's been sunny and 10 minutes later it's been blizzard, snowy. That was down in, I think I was hiking around near Cradle Mountain that day. I remember it. It was clear blue sky and it wouldn't have been any longer than 10 minutes. It was sleet, bordering on snowing, freezing cold. And after about 15 minutes, it went back to blue sky. So you just never know. So, make sure you check the forecast of what's going on. And before you head out, make sure you got all the appropriate gear. I always take a light raincoat at least, the very least, if I'm going on a hike, even if the weather says it's going to be fine and dry. A little light raincoat doesn't hurt, but if you're out in the trail in a storm or rain comes in unexpectedly and you get soaking wet, it becomes really uncomfortable. And if you're in a cold climate like down in Tassie in winter or something, that wet body can actually kill you. So make sure you check the weather. Mistake 5, choosing a trail that's too difficult for you. And this really applies a lot to senior hikers. They think they're still 20 years old and they go and decide to do a 35-kilometer hike up and down a couple of mountains. If you haven't trained and you haven't got the fitness for the hike you are about to embark on, then don't go and do the hike because you can very easily get yourself in trouble. Many beginners pick hikes that are way too long or too steep. They don't realize how it impacts on the body. Start with easier trails, build your fitness, then you can start doing longer, harder trails. And, another point about that too, if you start slowly, get fit, you're less likely to get injured on the trail. So that's another thing. You might be 15 Ks into the trail, you're totally exhausted because you're not fit enough. And then because the body's fatigued, you roll an ankle and you're in all sorts of trouble. So choose a trail that's not too difficult. Choose a trail within your fitness levels and capability. Very important. Mistake number 6, not telling people where you're going. And once again, that really applies to if you're solo hiking and really applies if you're solo and senior. You might get out on a trail, you might get lost, you might have an accident, or you might have a heart attack or something might happen. And if no one knows where you are, they're never going to find you. Or, the chances of getting found quickly are a lot less than if you tell someone. Before I go on a hike anywhere by myself, I always let my wife know, this is the trail I'm going on. It's probably going to take me this amount of time. And she knows exactly where I am. So make sure you do things like that. Hiking alone, you should never hike alone without letting someone know where you are. So important for your safety. Now, mistake number 7, packing the wrong gear. Once again, I see it so many times, especially beginner hikers. They either pack not enough gear or they pack their whole house and put it in their backpack and carry it along the trail. I see it so many times, and a lot of people take a lot of stuff that's really not necessary, and sometimes they leave out the things that really should be taken, like a first aid kit. I see so many hikers out on the trail that don't have a first aid kit. What happens if you roll an ankle? what are you going to do with that ankle? If you don't have like a compression bandage or elastic bandage to strap it at least to try and help you get out of there. I also, always take hiking poles when I go on a walk or hike, for not only for the stability of it, and I've done videos on that, but if I do twist my ankle, the poles help me to sort of hobble back out of the hike. That's really important. Sun protection, water, some snacks. I see so many people don't take snacks or water when they're going on a 10K hike. That's just lunacy. So make sure you take a basic little first aid, you take enough water, take some little trail mix if nothing else, or throw a banana in your backpack. Just anything, just to keep the fuel going into the body. I am going to be doing a video soon about, trail mix, what to put in your trail mix. Most people make trail mix or buy trail mix that's totally inappropriate to fuel your body. It's just a quick fix full of sugar. So I'm going to do a little video on that soon. It's really important to keep refueling your body, especially if you're doing a long hike. So make sure you do that. Water, snacks, take some sun protection. I always take hiking poles, and most definitely take a first aid kit with you. And if you're going on a long hike out in the middle of nowhere, especially if it's a hike that not many people do, I would always take a PBL with me, a personal locator beacon, just because if you get yourself in trouble and people don't walk that trail often, you could be there for days, even weeks before someone finds you. So that's really important as well. Anyway, I hope you found these 7 essential hiking tips for the beginner hiker useful to you. And if you have any questions about any of those tips, please let me know. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you out on the trail very, very soon. So stay safe, get out there and hike. Hiking is such a joyful experience. It's good for your fitness, it's good for your mental health, and it's just good to be in nature, get away from the noise and hassle of the city, and just breathe fresh air and just be. It's such an incredible thing. Everybody should hike. The world would be such a better place if we all hiked. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me for this little video once again, and we'll see you on the trail soon. Stay safe. Bye.